I opened my eyes blearily, waking up to the sound of something pounding in the distance. I stare at the ceiling a moment, then abruptly prop myself up on my elbows, looking around, confused. Where the hell? Oh, yeah. Flynn's room. I'd fallen asleep on Flynn's bed, naked after I'd taken a shower. Turns out that lizards don't have dryers, so I was left to air dry. I was tired, so Flynn had me lay out on his bed on a few towels, and that's where I am right now. Guess I fell asleep. Again, the pounding. I look over to my right and see Flynn curled up, his back facing me. I think he's naked as well for a moment. Then I see he's got boxer briefs on, the black color blending in with the skin. I roll over and poke the rough skin of his scaly back. The frills on the back of his neck flare out for a second, then lay back down. I almost do it again, but Flynn's grumpy, annoyed as hell tone stops me. What? I clear my throat. Sorry, but it sounds like... I don't have to say it because the pounding starts back up again, echoing up the hallway. What the fuck? Flynn pushes himself up into a sitting position, squinting at the hallway through the door. What time is it? Flynn rolls off the bed and starts putting on a shirt. I grab my phone, glad to see that it's still at half charge. It's 9? At the same time, I notice that I have texts, several of them. From Leo. Shit. What? Flynn hops around the room as he tries to pull on some pants. My eyes scan over the texts, realizing who it likely is that's knocking on the door. The messages started about 2 hours ago. Hey, I was at the motel and you aren't there. Gianna says she doesn't know where you are either. She says you didn't spend the night there. You and Flynn are the only ones not answering my messages. Are you at his house? Hello? I feel my stomach go into a knot. Fuck. Flynn whirls on me, annoyed, now fully dressed. The knocking has stopped, but I'm still uneasy about what I've just found out. I think it's Leo. What? This time, Flynn sounds panicked. He's been texting me all morning. He thinks I'm here now. I show Flynn my screen, but he barely looks at it. He's got his arms folded, his mind clearly racing. You know he can't find out that I've spent the night here. I try to keep my voice under control. I know. Yeah, we both know. Things are basically over between Leo and I. But that doesn't change the fact that this will bring up all kinds of problems in our little friend group. Flynn paces for a few seconds, then turns back to me. Well, he's gone now. I can just get Carl to say that you spent the night at his... He already texted Carl. Shit! Flynn groans and hangs back his head. Well, did he ask him if you spent the night there? No, he just said that he didn't know where I am. At least that's what he said in the text. I'll just tell him I don't know, and Carl can say you were there. Don't you think Carl would have told... Flynn suddenly reaches out, grabbing my shoulder and throwing me sideways onto the bed. I stare at him wide-eyed, but he's not looking at me. Instead, he's staring at the window behind me. What? He throws his hand out in my face, silencing me. Flynn moves to the window, and that's when I notice a big shadow shifting around out there. I scramble to the other side of the bed, heart hammering in my chest. Did he see me? The curtain is covering most of the window, but the foot-long gap at the end is just enough to look in. Flynn starts pantomiming in front of the window, shrugging his shoulders and shaking his head. Finally, he drops his arms with a sigh and leans in to crack the window open.
What the hell are you doing? Why the hell didn't you answer your door?
Leo's voice is angry. Honestly, a lot more angry than I would have expected, despite the situation.
I just woke up. I was knocking for like 5 fucking minutes. I'm a heavy sleeper. You're dressed and everything. I just got dressed. Most people don't go peeking in the windows when they don't get an answer, though.
Flynn glares through the window. I quietly roll off the bed so I can hide better, even if I'm not in view of the window from here.
Listen, I'm just looking for Chase. Have you seen him? No.
Flynn shifts his position a bit in my direction, as if trying to block Leo's view.
Looking for something? Yeah, Chase. Well, he ain't here. Why would he be? He stayed behind with you at the party, didn't he? Yep, then ran off to do some project or something.
There's a long pause.
Ooh, Chica! Can I come in for a sec? I need a drink. What? Go back to your house, man. You're saying you don't want me to come in?
Flynn sighs loudly, rubbing his eyes.
I'm saying I'm tired. It's 10 in the fucking morning. It's 9, but yeah, sometimes I stay up late. Why?
Flynn lowers his hand from his eyes and glares at Leo.
Listen, I'm not really in the mood for this right now.
Another long pause.
You're acting a little crazy right now, too. Listen, I'll be on my way if I can come in for a bit. I'm fucking burning up.
I see Flynn push his forehead against the glass, eyes closed, frustration written all over his face.
All right, a glass of water, then get out so I can go back to sleep. Fine.
With that, Flynn closes the window, watching it for a while before sighing loudly again.
All right, stay here, got it? If he knows you're here, we both know he'll kill us both.
Yeah.
All right, if for whatever reason he comes back here, hide under the fucking bed, or if you have to.
With that, Flynn turns and heads out the door into the hallway. That last thing he said has me feeling like shit. Sneaking around behind Leo's back like this is wrong. Even if I know telling him about it would be worse. Is it my fault that Leo can't get over our relationship? I have a right to do what I want, right? I sigh and press my forehead into the bed. Staring at my crotch, that's when I realize I'm still naked. I look up, listening. I hear the front door open, followed by some distant mumbling from Leo. If I sneak to the bathroom real quick, I can grab my clothes. Maybe stay there until Leo leaves. At least that way it won't look as bad if he finds me for whatever reason. I get up and pad quietly to the hall, listening. I can hear some clinking around in the kitchen, then the murmur of some voices. The kitchen is practically out of sight from the hall. which leads to the living room. I stand there for a moment longer, tail twitching as I contemplate if this is a good idea or not. The moment I hear Leo's voice coming from the kitchen area again, I quickly tiptoe the short distance to the bathroom. Despite not having come close at all to being caught, my heart still hammers in my chest. The voices continue to mumble in the kitchen as I start looking around for my clothes. They're folded neatly on the counter, and I quickly snatch them up.
Pretty sure I wouldn't smell on you.
I catch a few words from Leo that makes my ears perk. Something about smell? Leo smells a lot of things. He has a canine's nose. My eyes widen. Did he smell me on Flynn? I'm pretty sure Flynn hasn't showered since what we did yesterday. My heart rate picks up again as I feel my knees wanting to give out.
Where the fuck are you going?
This time I do hear Flynn, and I know exactly what it means. The only problem is that I'm still naked in the fucking bathroom. Should I lock the door? Then Leo would definitely know someone's here and that it's probably me.
Fuck!
I mouth the word, knowing that Leo would hear it if I said it now. I hear heavy footsteps coming up the hall. I definitely can't go back to the room and hide under the bed now. They don't keep coming toward the bathroom, though. The movements become somewhat muffled again as they turn into Flynn's room.
This is fucking crazy, Leo.
If Leo heard Flynn, he doesn't say anything. I anticipate the sound of Leo ripping up Flynn's room, but I guess he isn't that far gone because things go quiet again. Then there's some pacing around, along with heavy breathing.
You realize I could call the cops, right?
I hear the closet door open. I look around desperately, realizing that I don't have much time. The first thing I see is the shower curtain in the bathtub. It's a see-through blue color, so there's no way I can stand behind it and not be seen. I hear shifting around in the other room again, and their bickering becomes more clear as they step back into the hall. Panicking and practically numb with fear, I crouch down and pull open a cupboard under the sink. Amazingly, there are only a few bottles of cleaning solutions, leaving plenty of room for me to squeeze in. As quietly as I can, I crawl into the opening. Reaching back out, I pull the door closed, setting my other hand against it as I do so it won't spring shut. Everything goes dark, and their voices become muffled once again. I back up against the very back of the enclosure, hugging my knees as I try to keep my breathing quiet. It's actually a little while before they come into the bathroom, and I almost jump as Leo's voice booms in the small space.
His smell is all over your fucking house. Then maybe he should shower more.
There's a small silence, and I imagine that Leo just gave him a look that shattered any surly confidence he might have had.
Like I said, he was here for like an hour yesterday. And why didn't you fucking tell me that earlier? Because I knew you'd be acting like this. Seriously.
Their footsteps shift again in time with their voices muffling. I dare to let out a small sigh of relief. I can still hear them arguing, but I don't really care enough to follow. Jace, you maniac. Go get him, Tiger. You pass through the cupboard door into the bathroom. Like a ghost. You follow the voices down to the hall, into the kitchen. Leo is on his way to the door. He stops in front of it, turning back around to Flynn, who's following close behind.
You're really starting to piss me off, Flynn. And you're really starting to freak me out, Leo. All of that still doesn't explain why his smell is all over you.
Flynn works his jaw for a moment, eyes narrowed.
We roughhoused a little bit by the mine.
By the mine.
And you know how we get sometimes. And it was really hot.
Leo is shaking his head, like he's tired of listening to what Flynn has to say, like he's tired of everything.
And then you have it mixed with that smell.
Flynn throws his hands up, exasperated.
I jerked off later. Sorry, but this really ain't any of your business. You know, it kind of fucking is since I planned out this entire fucking thing.
Leo's starting to lose his temper again. You know this isn't like Leo at all.
Calm down! Jesus, maybe he went off to do more research, or whatever. Said he wasn't done at the mine.
At the mine. Leo's not listening anymore. He's looking to the side, staring at the wall, hackles raised.
Listen, I'll drive around town real quick to see if I can find him before work, alright? Flynn, you know you ruined this whole thing for me, right? Thing? For you? What are you talking about? And I'll be fucking damned if I let you do it again!
The anger and spite in Leo's face is scaring Flynn.
Leo? What's going on?
But Leo still isn't listening. The wolf turns sharply away, yanking open the door.
Leo!
Flynn reaches out, resting a hand on Leo's shoulder. But at that moment, the wolf throws an elbow back into Flynn so hard that the lizard is sent stumbling back several steps before falling to his knees. Flynn lets out a hoarse groan, but Leo ignores it, slamming the door shut on his way out. Flynn stays like that, doubled over on the carpet, making soft, rasping noises before his breathing finally comes under control. He stays there a while longer, absorbing what just happened, knowing that Leo isn't himself either. He also regrets doing anything with Chase. Finally, he looks up, right at you. You decide to leave. There's really no point to try and reason with him. It's been a while since you've been out alone like this. Feels good not being attached. Something about that lizard, Flynn, is helping this happen. You'll have to deal with him later. As you continue to walk down the dirt road, you see him. It takes a while at first because he's so far away. But then, you see that thick tail waving back and forth as he approaches you. Can he see you? Probably. It's been a long time since you were attached. But the feelings, the thoughts, you can remember it like it was yesterday. The new one is better. A lot more quiet. At least, you made him quiet. It was easier to do than with this one. He keeps walking towards you, and you start to wonder if you should turn back. You always snap back eventually. Why not let this play out? Let's see how far this will go. Now that you're this close, you can see water dripping off his body. Even after all these years. Finally, you can make out his face. Angry. No. Furious. Finally seeing you again. He doesn't like what you did. And who can blame him? He starts to run towards you. You finally stop walking. Waiting. He's on you in a second, lunging, blunt claws and sharp teeth bared. I keep wondering if I should come out myself. The last time I heard any voices was like almost 5 minutes ago. Still, I realize that they could both be outside, or something. I don't want to come running out if Leo decides to come back in. So I wait, starting to feel sweaty in my cramped position, my nose twitching from the strong chemical smells. I'll probably take another shower. After a few minutes, I hear a soft padding up the hallway. I know it's Flynn, but I wait. Another few seconds of silence goes by before Flynn finally speaks.
He's gone.
So, how are we going to explain to Leo that Carl just forgot I was there? I pull my shirt over my head, feeling kinda gross putting back on my musky shirt. Flynn stands in front of his dresser's mirror, having just finished putting on his tie. He's currently picking at his scales with a pair of tweezers.
Carl forgets everything. Especially when he gets high. Which is all the time.
Flynn's been acting kinda distant after the whole Leo incident. It's not hard to imagine why. I'm feeling the same way. Leo almost finding out,
Probably finding out.
had put a damper on our stupid excursions. It really put into perspective how immature we were being. Alright. So, I'll say I spent the night at Carl's, then left in the morning to do some filming, then came back. Flynn had told me to text all of this to Carl before I go over there. The only response I've gotten so far was a short, "What?"
We don't got any other choices.
I guess not.
And Chase, we probably shouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah, I know. Flynn glances at me through the mirror, then returns to picking at his skin. He clears his throat.
I know this is kind of gross, but
It's fine. We've all got our
gross.
things to deal with.
Can't go into work looking like I got snowed on.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't ever really get that bad, but
Flynn breaks off awkwardly as he goes back to his grooming. It's weird seeing him this off, but again, it's not like it's unwarranted. I sit on the edge of his bed, texting Carl again to try and get him to at least partially understand what the plan is. After a couple minutes, Flynn clears his throat again.
listen, Chase. You ever feel a little bit like not yourself?
Huh? I look up and see that the lizard is looking at me through the mirror again. He quickly turns his attention back to his picking.
I don't know. Like you're not fully in control of what you do.
I frown. Is Flynn trying to get at something? Explain his own actions? Does he feel like he wasn't in control of what happened between us? No. At least I don't think so. Flynn finally puts down the tweezers and turns to me, leaning his rear against the dresser.
So you've never felt like you're not yourself?
Though I'm not totally sure as to what Flynn is getting at, I decide to humor him and think. I guess. I guess after what happened when we were kids, I didn't feel right.
After Sydney?
Yeah. I tried to avoid talking about it directly, but Flynn doesn't seem to be bothered right now. You probably remember that I saw a therapist after, because I felt so different and it scared me. Flynn nods.
Did they figure it out?
Kind of. If I remember right, they said it was like a disassociative thing.
What's that?
Like, sometimes when something really traumatic happens, your mind sort of distances you from yourself to protect you. I shrug. Something like that? I'm not very good at psych stuff. I almost tell Flynn to ask Jenna, but of course he can't.
So did they fix it?
Not really. But I got used to it, I guess. Was like the new me.
And you're okay with that?
I shrug again. My therapist said that really traumatic things can change the way your brain works forever. You just learn to live with it.
That doesn't sound good.
No. But it's part of life. I think we all changed.
Yeah.
I don't go into detail about how it got worse over time. The whole not feeling like myself. How I felt more and more like my personality was bleeding away. That I'm a completely different person now than I was 10 years ago. Because in the back of my mind, I just wonder if that's what it's like to grow up. That you become less like you were as a kid. Happy, carefree, a complete douchebag. And turn into a hollow shell of that. I can still feel Flynn looking at me, so I decide to bring up something else that's just as uncomfortable, since we're already there. So, when are you planning to talk to TJ? Flynn's silent for only a second.
Saturday. At the end of your trip.
I'm not sure if that's the best idea. It doesn't leave much time to make amends if things turned sour. Which they most likely will. Then, I guess that means we'll easily be able to just leave as soon as it's over. Okay. Flynn's still looking at me, so I abruptly stand up, putting my phone back into my pocket. Anyway, you ready to go? I don't want to make you late for work.
Sure.
Flynn finally straightens up, walking across the room to grab his keys. I'm glad just to have somewhere to go now. Flynn feeling off like this is one of the most awkward experiences I've ever had. Probably because he's usually so good at making things not awkward. So with that, Flynn takes me to Carl's house, dropping me off before heading to work. I sit quietly next to Carl on the couch as he plays his video games. It's some kind of first-person shooter that I've never seen before.
You know, I'm not all that into shooters, but this one is pretty good.
Yeah? I try to act interested as I browse through my phone. I've already texted Leo, apologizing and telling him that my phone had died. It's weird how quickly this lie has gotten out of control. I'm making things up as I go at this point, and I'm amazed at how easy it is. Leo hasn't responded, and I doubt he believes any of it. It still gives both of us room to pretend, though.
Yeah, man. Like, I think it's the sci-fi elements. I could never play one of those World War shooters.
Same. Carl clicks around with the controller for a while longer.
You alright?
I sigh loudly, finally tearing my eyes away from my phone. Yeah, I'm good.
Because you don't seem good.
I don't respond to that, instead choosing to zone out to whatever is happening on the screen.
What's with this whole story anyway? About you spending the night or whatever?
I debate whether it's worth telling Carl or not. He's got to go along with it either way, but keeping all of these secrets is starting to make me feel sick. Well, I spent the night at Flynn's. Leo found out I wasn't at the motel, so he came looking for me.
Oh, shit. Did you and Flynn,
I let the silence hang for a while. Carl snorts.
Wow.
Come on, Carl.
No, I don't mind. Just seems kinda weird.
How so? I feel myself get defensive. I'm not really in the mood to be judged by Carl. Yeah, he's cool and everything, but his life, let alone his sex life, doesn't exactly put him in a position to do so.
Well, you barely got here like 5 days ago, and already?
I sigh. You know how Flynn is.
Yeah, I do.
So you shouldn't be surprised.
But, I mean, we've known him since we were kids. Just feels a little bit odd.
Carl, I'm really not in the mood right now. Carl goes quiet for a few more minutes. The clicking buttons on a controller the only sound. It doesn't last long, though.
You know, I saw you guys at the river a couple days back.
I saw you too.
I mean, I saw you guys.
Carl, I just said I'm not in the mood. Carl shrugs.
Just saying, I already know. It's cool.
I keep quiet, hoping that will get Carl to drop this stupid subject already. It doesn't work.
But I get why you gotta keep it from Leo like this.
I pulled my phone out to see if I've gotten a text from Leo yet. I haven't.
Me and Leo, we don't hang out all that much, though I think he tries to. He talks about you a lot.
I tried to ignore the guilt that's steadily building up inside me. Did you smoke today? Because you're being real talkative right now. I only ask because I don't smell it. Usually it's pretty strong.
Actually, I had an edible this morning.
Carl giggles for a good long while after that. Oh, really? I massaged my brow with a thumb and forefinger. Normally, I get along great with Carl, especially when he's high. But after this morning, basically everything is getting on my nerves.
I usually hate that shit. But, I don't know. Guess I was bored today. Those things shoot me in the fucking space.
Guess it explains why you won't shut up.
Hey, am I pissing you off?
I immediately regret what I just said as Carl puts the game on pause. No. Just had a stressful morning.
Oh, with Leo?
Carl starts the game back up, giggling again as he shoots a space marine in the face. Finally, a text from Leo.
Good to know.
Another one immediately follows.
Let's hang out sometime soon. But you know, Flynn cares about you too.
Yeah? I text Leo a quick affirmative, though I'm not really sure when that hangout is going to happen.
Yeah. Wouldn't stop talking about you when we drove to the reservation.
Really? That actually did seem really out of the ordinary. What the hell would Flynn have to say about me? Carl shrugs.
Bunch of stuff. He wanted to buy you something from the reservation, but thought it might be too weird.
Flynn buying me a gift? That's kind of weird. For Flynn, I mean.
I thought it was kind of cute.
What else did he say? Carlos seems to think hard while he continues to shoot guys on the screen. He twists the controller this way and that, bumping into my shoulder each time.
Said you seem to have grown up a lot. That you're way different than you were as a teenager? Yep. Really cute.
Carl's tone seems slightly annoyed there, but I don't really care enough to ask about it.
By the way, how's your project going?
Being reminded that I have an entire project to do doesn't ease that knot that's forming in my stomach. Not that great. Still need a lot of film and research.
What kind of research?
Stuff about Echo.
Like history stuff?
Yep. Earl plays a while longer, then sits down his controller.
My mom might have some Echo history stuff in the cellar, but...
He pauses.
You know, Flynn is like the records holder, right?
The clerk, yeah. I already know what Carl was getting at, and honestly, I want to kick myself for not thinking of it in the first place. Carl turns to me, a loopy grin on his face. Those edibles really do fuck with him.
So? Let's go get some records from him. Probably better than digging around in my basement.
Well, yeah, we should. But I don't even know what to get.
Don't worry about it, dude. I go down there to shoot the shit with him all the time. We can ask him.
Things aren't exactly cool between Flynn and I right now, but it's something to do. I'm so behind in my project at this point, I don't have any excuses.